Hello, welcome back. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to 50/50 Day. Everyone, you can tune in to our live stream at 50-50day.org and check out all of the amazing interviews that we've been doing today, all the Q&As. We've really had just an incredible day of speakers, so I really encourage you, if you're just tuning in now, to check out the feed of all the people that have come earlier in the day. And right now, I'm excited to welcome Gary Barker, who's the founder and international director of Promundo, an international NGO that promotes gender justice. He's also the co-founder of MenCare, an organization encouraging men to serve as caregivers, and MenEngage, an international alliance working to involve men and boys in the gender equality issue. He's a member of, his big bio, he's a member of the Secretary General's Network of Men Leaders in the UN's Unite to End Violence Against Women campaign. So welcome, Gary. We're so thrilled to have you here as part of 50/50 Day.
Thanks, and thanks for doing this. I feel like I'm privileged and when I get to talk about this. So yeah, thanks for inviting me.
So Gary, why should gender equity be important to men? And what can they do to be more involved with this issue?
I mean, the why, I mean, we would hope that we could get men at just saying those words, that it's right, it's the way the planet should be. Anything less is ridiculous and doesn't make any sense. So yeah, I wish that were enough, but we know that's not enough. And so we've been doing a lot of global both research as well as advocacy around saying, look, we've got data. We've done a big survey called the International Men and Gender Equality Survey. We've got 50,000 interviews from 30 countries, Global South, Global North, Latin America, et cetera. And anywhere we carry this out, we've just done this in the Middle East. We've done a version with young men in the US. Guys who buy into a more equitable version of manhood are happier and healthier. Our lives get better as men as well, apart from what it means for the women in our lives. So, you know, whether you look at relationship quality, whether you look at the workplace and if you're happy at your workplace, whether you look at your own mental health and whether you've thought about suicide or whether you feel lonely, guys who buy into gender equality are overall better for the planet and their lives are better. We could start with the headline around, you know, female partners who say that men do more of the care work and treat them better and are more equitable in decision making, say they like being with men who do that, including they like their sex lives with these men. So like yeah, we can go from that. We could start there if you want. So yeah, all of that.
No, please go on. I mean, I'd love to hear how this benefits
men. With sex is a good place for a break. Yeah.
No, but I'd love to hear these stats on, you know, the real ways this does benefit men. So please continue.
Yeah, I mean, I think we did a study that we launched about a month ago called the Man Box about men ages 18 to 30 that we did in the US, the UK, and Mexico. And the more guys are stuck in this rigid view of manhood, the more likely they are to have bullied or to have been bullied. The more likely they are to be unhappy and to be depressed. They're about 3 times more likely to have thought about suicide in the last few weeks. And so this box that we put men into, or that we put ourselves into at times, that somehow we think we've always got to be in charge, that the world is ours to run, that we can't fill in the blank, stop and ask for directions, ask for help, acknowledge that we might not be as tough as we think we are, that maybe we haven't had as many sexual conquests as we brag about. All the things that put us in a box are actually bad for our own health in addition to being bad for women. So I think part of we have to say this is not about shifting the focus and saying, oh, let's look at men now because it's this man box that puts them there. But it is about saying it's okay to acknowledge that men's lives get better when we acknowledge the full humanity of women and gender equality. So that's one point to talk about in a way that doesn't take away from what we as men need to do on behalf of women.
But so what's the sticking point for men on this issue, right? And so what's the sticking point? And then where are you starting to see, you know, real change happening?
Yeah, I mean, the big one is this thing called privilege. I mean, you don't get a kind of lively conversation going on with the group saying, hey, let's talk about the privilege that we have as we walk.
You know what, Gary, you're breaking up for a bit. Could you just repeat, because you were saying something really great, but it was a little distorted. Hello? Do you want to reload? I think we've just, this has been Gary Barker from Director of Promundo, and we've been having a fantastic conversation. Gary, are you back? Hello?
I think we're back. Are we okay now?
Your
Can you hear me?
Your image is frozen, but let me see if I can hear you.
Try again. Did that help?
Yeah, so let me see. Hello? Okay, and let's try this. You're a little fuzzy.
I guess there's...
There you go. You're coming back in.
Okay.
Challenges of modern technology.
All right.
We're doing the best we can.
Okay.
So you were just talking about some of the sticking points for men on this issue. Oh, and
yeah, I think, am I back?
You're back.
Okay. The big one is this word privilege, right? How do we have an honest conversation that says, we're okay now?
Yeah.
Okay. How do we have an honest conversation that says we still, just by being men, not by skills that we have or anything that we did to deserve it, that our income is 20+% higher, and that we hold many more positions of power and decision-making in the U.S. and around the world? How come I didn't do anything about that? I'm not responsible for that. So I think the big sticking point is to acknowledge, hey, there's a historical privilege that we as men have. It doesn't mean every single man has this equal piece of benefit that he carries around in his back pocket. But it does mean that we've got to talk about what do we do together with women, that there is a truly level playing field. And that's not an easy conversation to get going, which is why we, the other pieces that come in. I think other say really easy sort of to say, yeah, of course, I believe in women being, at the table work. But how do you get men to talk to 50% of the care work? The 80% of us who are fathers, or the others who do kind of care for those around us, to say, I'm going to do this in equal numbers and acknowledge that my salary will probably decline a little bit, or that I might not climb as fast in my career. How's that conversation going? Men, we like to talk about the play parts. There's a lot of really interesting conversations about being, the new hipster-involved dads, and there's all kinds of new products being sold to us. To be these involved dads.
Oh no, we lost you again.
Amounts of time. We're still there?
Now you're back.
Okay. So yeah, those two are the big ones. Privilege and getting men to do half the daily care of children.
I think those are two huge ones. And especially as a mother of 3 boys, I can tell you that I appreciate their father very much.
Yeah.
So, absolutely, and it's great, and it's great for the children. It's great for girls and boys growing up to see 2 engaged parents in their lives. It really does. It really makes a difference. So, can you talk a little bit about the work you're doing with MenEngage and the global efforts that you're working on?
Yeah, a couple of things. One piece around. So we've got the confusing names of MenEngage, which is a global network of about 700 plus.
But can you repeat that? We're losing that. And I think that's such an important point you're making right now, is that there are more than 700 plus men's organizations around the world. So I'm losing you, Gary. So I'm not sure if I'm on. Sure. But I think that's probably a number that a lot of people. Great. I think that's probably a number a lot of people don't know or wouldn't be aware of, that there's over 700 men's organizations in the world. Right? Organizations
that come from back. Right. Am I back? Yeah.
You're back.
There's some men's organizations that come from anti-feminist perspective. We've been, one of the main things is to say these are NGOs or not-for-profit organizations doing this work from a pro-feminist or a feminist perspective. We're on for the 50-50 agenda. That's why we're here. So one of the key points has been really saying what those principles of the work are, and make sure we've got sort of common marching orders of how we do this work together with women's rights organizations and groups that are pushing equality for women. We negotiate as a common voice at the UN, so around international conventions and declarations about women's empowerment, we're there as a group saying, and here's things that need to happen to shift the dialogue when we engage men. We call each other out. There's no shortage of having to do that. Of when we occasionally want to say, oh, men, and aren't we great that we're doing this? To say, no knights and white horses going on here. We're talking about, in fact, take the back, guys. This is about doing with women. This is not about doing it instead of a group that marches together at the Women's March, for example, to say this is about citizen advocates. Yeah.
So Gary, can you talk? What are a couple of those principles that you are talking about that you're asking your men's organizations to sign on to? Oh, I think we've lost you again.
Am I back?
You're back. You're in and out,
Okay.
and I think you're back now.
One is saying
field is looking very good on you, though.
the same as what's in the air. The
Exactly.
same with the Facebook crash or whatever. So,
link to me for a second. Hello, you know what? I think this is good news, actually, that there are so many people on our site. They're crashing our site.
That is happening.
Margaret Cho and Eva Longoria tweeted our Facebook page, so then we've crashed that, which is all good. Let's break the internet getting to 50-50 if we're going to break the internet. So basically, Gary, I want to hear what you say. Every time you get cut off, I'm like, don't stop. So we're going to have to figure out how to do this with you again when the technology is a little more smooth. I think it's because so many people are having screenings at lunchtime that this is like the prime time. And, this is the interweb, and it's not totally copacetic yet, which is what I love and hate about technology. So this global day, 50-50 day, is a new kind of day. We've done it with character, but it's a new model. So a lot of it is new technology, reposting stuff in new ways, hard coding. So I'm sorry for any of the technical problems, but it's also the interweb. But you're brilliant. We would love.
And I will say, from just the deep dive that we've done, and you're on here, and if anything that Gary has said has been interesting for you, please go check out the work they're doing at Promundo. It's important work, and it's really groundbreaking. And if we're talking about changing the future to a more gender equitable place, Gary and Promundo are some of the leaders in that space. So sadly, we can't hear from him directly, but please, we'll link to the website.
We heard a lot, but there was a couple moments where I was just like, oh, what you were going to say. So we did hear a lot. It's just I want to hear more.
Okay. No problem. So you want to call it a wrap there, and what do you propose?
Now, of course, you sound wonderful as soon as I jump back on. But yeah, I think we're going to call it a wrap, but we would love to continue with this conversation with you. Maybe we'll do a podcast interview with you because you have a lot of wisdom to share. So we'll figure that out. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule today, and thank you for all the courageous work that you do in getting to 50-50.
Yeah. Thanks for including us, and thanks for your work today. Yeah, we will tweet and shout as well.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Perfect.